I'm so happy to be able to talk to Dr. Pinkey Patel, who is the CEO and founder of Myri Health. Dr. Pinkey, if you could just give a quick introduction to yourself, that would be great.
Hi, Ainsley. Thank you for the time and the opportunity. I'm Dr. Pinkey Patel, as you mentioned, the CEO and founder of Myri Health. I'm based out of Oklahoma. And Myri Health is an AI-powered maternal health platform designed to provide personalized, proactive, and equitable pregnancy and postpartum care. A little bit of my background, I'm actually a clinical pharmacist by trade, pre and postnatal corrective exercise specialist. Have two of my own, so I've lived the experience. I have an 8 and a 5-year-old. And I found myself advocating in rooms during my journeys and my reproductive journey in labor and delivery. And I recognized there was a lot of fragmented care. And someone who hired a doula and had access to resources, I felt like if this happens to me, what happens to other women during their labor and delivery and postpartum experiences? So just a little bit about myself. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time today. And so, as you mentioned, Myri Health is revolutionizing maternal care. It actually helps with blending AI with science. So, can you share how AI is being used to help identify risks in early pregnancy and also how it can help improve the overall outcomes for mothers?
Yeah, absolutely. So we use AI-powered risk assessments to proactively identify potential complications before they escalate. Now, our technology leverages real-time data, clinical guidelines, and predictive analytics to flag concerns and things that we can quantify, right? So gestational diabetes, preeclampsia, mental health challenges. All of these things can also eventually exacerbate or create preterm labor. Now, when we bring in predictive analytics and AI, no birth, no labor, no reproductive journey, no mother is the same. And so when everything is outcomes driven, we're truly focused on customizing that care for that mother so that we can have improved outcomes. We don't just stop at identifying risk. We provide tailored interventions, whether it's evidence-based education, connecting moms to specialists, facilitating that telehealth or potentially in-person care, prompting healthcare providers to step in at the right time. But by addressing issues early and being preventative rather than reactive, we're actually helping mothers have healthier pregnancies and then by then reducing unnecessary healthcare costs.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned too, pregnancy and postpartum can both kind of be really unpredictable. So how does your platform provide that proactive health assessments? And then how do you also ensure that that information that it provides is
Yeah.
actionable for those healthcare providers that you were talking about?
Yeah, so just like I mentioned, it's not one size fits all. I found myself at this intersection of the content that I was, whether it was a Google or a book, or even now if you chat GPT'd something, that didn't exist when I was actually pregnant. But all of those recommendations are not very personalized. And so we are continuously learning from the mother's unique data, her symptoms, her history, her social determinants of health. We connect with different wearables, IoT devices. We actually integrate with the EHRs. And if we have that connectivity, we retrospectively can also look at that data point. And so with that, for providers for moms, let's start with that. That means they're getting timely, digestible recommendations based on their individual needs, whether it's guidance on managing swelling, identifying that that headache is not just a headache. It might be a sign for preeclampsia, because we also connect with wearables like blood pressure and blood sugar devices, warning signs for preterm labor, and when to actually seek immediate care. On the flip side, for the provider, we're bridging the communication gap by integrating with existing workflows and surfacing the most critical insights so that they can intervene efficiently. The goal is to make it more proactive, like I had mentioned, rather than reactive. Yeah.
Absolutely. And when you're talking about efficiency, so AI
Yeah.
is often seen as a tool, right, for efficiency. But how do you balance that, the technology there, with also the need for personal and then also compassionate care, which is
Yeah.
such during an important and sensitive time for mothers?
100% vulnerable, sensitive, and we're overly analyzing every aspect of our lives at that time. So AI should never replace human care. It should enhance it. Myri was designed with that in mind. We actually started a very algorithmically driven. Myri was actually an app that I designed and, well, my team designed, and we launched 5 years ago when I was actually delivering a baby. I don't recommend that. But, at the time we were algorithmically driven, there was no AI. And so we were very user obsessed. And I think we leveraged that experience to really
Mhm.
understand our user experience. But then we responsibly integrated AI very recently after building that foundation. So our AI is just not delivering data. It's translating insights into supportive human-centered experiences. So we meet moms where they are, providing empathy-driven support through nudges, coaching, then access to real experts, right? So it's about making sure that the mom feels, if she's feeling anxious at 2 in the morning, she has more than just an algorithm or Google or WebMD. She has guidance and reassurance and getting that trust. So the DNA of Myri was built on community. When things aren't, when you're an early stage startup, you have to be very creative. And we built a community. It's in the DNA of our company. And that community meant anonymously moms were engaging with one another. When you get mothers talking to each other anonymously, they start to feel like, okay, there's a space for me to be myself.
Yeah.
So you can bring any AI in, you can bring, any kind of gadget in, a device, but I feel like you can't replace community, and that will always be at the DNA of Myri. And so we still have a significant D2C audience and population. But again, back to the AI piece, the key is balance. AI provides precision, but we ensure care still remains deeply personal. We should empower, not replace that connection.
Absolutely. And that is so, so important to have that balance.
Yeah.
And you still kind of remaining at your core, that care and that empathy piece, while still being able to have that efficiency as well. So that is, super important to find that balance. And kind of on the topic of finding what that perfect balance is, what has that been the most significant challenge when integrating AI into maternal health care, and how have you overcome it to actually provide better care for both the moms and the babies?
Yeah, so how I mentioned trust before, right?
Mhm.
And so we got the trust through the community, through social media, through getting the mothers on the platform. But one of the biggest challenges is that because when you have healthcare providers and you've got healthcare providers that want to trust, and there's also mothers themselves that you have to earn the trust from. So there's a lot of skepticism around AI and healthcare, especially in a space that is as intimate as pregnancy and postpartum. So we've tackled this by ensuring transparency. Our AI isn't a black box. We're showing mothers and providers why certain recommendations are made. Plus, we're
Mhm.
working alongside healthcare systems, of healthcare advisory boards, not against them. We're integrating seamlessly rather than disrupting workflows, because the last thing we need is healthcare providers adding an additional technology and
Right.
add it to their workflow. We know that I was once working behind in a white coat as a pharmacist. I've been in healthcare in a hospital. I understand that challenge. But another challenge is that also ensuring that AI is equitable. So we've built in safeguards to prevent that bias, making sure that our data recommendations are inclusive of all racial, socioeconomic, and geographic backgrounds.
Amazing. And again, thank you so much for your time today. But I wanted to ask you, one more question here as we are looking forward. How do you see the future of digital maternal health care evolving? And then what role do you feel like AI will continue to play in shaping safer and more supportive experiences for new and expecting mothers?
Yeah, no, I love that question. So the future of maternal care is going to have to be personalized. It's going to have to be predictable and accessible. Being reactive has not worked, and it's clearly showing up in our data.
Mhm.
Now, AI will continue to be a game changer, not just for risk detection, but for redefining how we're delivering that care. So we're going to start seeing a shift from an episodic care to continuous real-time support. So imagine a world where AI is detecting preterm labor risks early enough to prevent a complication, or where postpartum mental health concerns are flagged before they're becoming an actual crisis. So we're really wanting, at Myri, to push for a future where every mom, no matter where she lives, what language she speaks, or what resources she has, she gets
Mhm.
care that she deserves when she really needs it.
Amazing. Well, I just want to again congratulate you for all the amazing work that you have done with Myri Health. And I hope to see continued success for you in 2025 and beyond. And thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Pinkey.
Thank you.